Early spring means it is apple tree pruning time. I'm going to start working on the young trees that have had 2 years of growth in the ground. I'm going to prune them first, and that's going to be the focus of this video. I will deal with the mature trees later. Now, before I go ahead and start actually doing the pruning, we're going to go take a look at the trees so that there's a basis for comparison against how they looked a year ago when I pruned them and made that video. So I'll put the link for that here up top, and we'll take a look at how these trees have grown since that pruning. We'll start with the not so good. This tree and that one there have both been hit by deer. And this one's particularly bad. You see those branches way down by the ground. I'm actually going to take all of those off and probably not do too much pruning up here on this one, because I don't want branches that are down there at the ground like that. We want the tree to branch out and fruit a few feet up from the ground. That one, similar issue with those branches down near the bottom. So those bottom two branches are going to come off, but then that one's got some better branching and better leader up at the top. So that one's going to be easier to recover into the shape that we want. As we look down this line, we've got some nice branching on these two. Not so much on that third one, but then the last one's got some good branching on it. Just need to prune it back to a single leader and probably take some tips off of a few of the branches here to stimulate some growth. Looking at these two over here, they're doing all right. There is some low branching on that one, so I do want to take some of that off. And then I need to select a good leader. It's going to be particularly hard for that far one down there, as there isn't necessarily a clear leader. With these over here, this tree is probably the one that's taken off the most of any of them, and I think that's because of how groundwater is here. That's a pristine. We got another pristine there, and then we have two Williams prides over here, and these have got some pretty nice branching on them. I like what's going on here. So I'm not going to cut these back a whole lot, but we will get to a good strong leader. So there's just one going vertical, and kind of trim out some of the cross branching or any branches that are coming back into the tree, and nip some tips off to stimulate some new growth. So that's going to be our plan of attack here. All right, so looking at this first Williams pride, thinking about where to start, even though that is the taller branch here for a leader, I think because of the angle on it and where it's positioned, I want that branch there to be the new leader. So I'm gonna nip this one off. And then from here, I think I'm gonna take this, and then I'm gonna cut this back just a little. Gonna cut the tip off of this one, and looking over here, I think I'm gonna take this back there, and then I'm gonna take this larger branch off, and we'll take the tip off this. Let's see, I don't think I want to take off any more than that for now. We'll let that grow and see how it turns out. I got a similar thing going on with this one. I don't want any of these out competing that central leader, so I'm just going to take them back, take quite a bit off of these, and then this second branch is up competing with it too. So I'm actually going to pull that one back quite a bit. Just going to take the tip off of this one, the tip off the leader here. Now, looking at these lower branches, I think I'm just going to take the tip off of that one. We'll take the tip off of that one. Going to get rid of this vertical one and this vertical one. And I'm going to cut this one back as well. And we'll take out this little guy. So now we'll let that go and see what she does this year. Now this one is kind of a nightmare. Unfortunately, I don't see a way to avoid taking quite a bit off, because we don't want these branches down here at the ground. But then when I come up here, I almost think I'm gonna let things go a bit. We'll take out this, we'll shorten that. Let's see, we'll shorten that a little. Now this is all crowded and messy. This one's kind of coming up through everything else, so I'm gonna get rid of that. And from here, we've got kind of this split top here. I think I'm gonna take that one out. And I think at this point, I'm just gonna see what happens and which of these two develops the best as a leader for the tree. Because unfortunately this one, the original leader got nipped, the deer took it. And so it's trying to establish a new one. So we'll go with that. And hopefully this year, they'll send off more growth vertical instead of down near the base of the trunk. Well, the young trees are all pruned. Hopefully they'll do well for their third growing season, continue branching out, getting strength in those branches. I do think I am gonna put some spreaders on some of those branches just to get them going more horizontally or at an angle instead of curving up vertical, which is the tendency. The mature trees need to be pruned next. All the vertical shoots that you see coming up off of the trees behind me need to go, in addition to some other branches and some diseased branches. These trees are pretty old, and I am in the process of thinking about actually replacing them, meaning cutting them down and slowly putting in new trees, just waiting for these young trees to get to the point where they start fruiting.